Hey everyone, welcome back to another one of our videos. My name is Mohi. I'm going to take you through a question that one of our students found quite challenging, and I thought it would be beneficial for us to go through so that others can benefit as well. So let's look at the question at hand, and it says here, Mary sleeps 9 hours each night, 5 nights a week, and 11 hours for 2 nights a week. Which is the closest to the percentage of the whole week that Mary spends sleeping? Now, having a look at the answers, 25, 30, 34, 40, 50%. So they're quite close by, right? Apart from 40 to 50 is 10% difference. Others are about 5 to 4% difference, right? And 34 to 46% difference. So they're quite close by. And so we have to be fairly accurate. But because it says here, which is the closest, that kind of implies to me that I can estimate, and hopefully my estimate is going to be pretty good. So let's have a look at what we can do. So Mary sleeps 9 hours for 5 nights, 9 hours each night for 5 nights, right? 5 nights a week. So 9 times 5, that's 45 hours for those 5 nights. What else can we do? 11 hours for 2 nights. Okay, that's quite easy. 11 hours for 2 nights. 11 times 2, that's 22. And when I add those together, I get 67 hours. So Mary sleeps 67 hours. Now, the question is about percentage and the percentage of the whole week. So as we're talking about hours, we're going to have to work out how many hours there are in the whole week. So we know there's 24 hours in a day times 7 days in a week. 24 times 7. I can do this mentally. 24 is 20 and 4. 20 times 7 is going to be 140. 7 times 4 or 4 times 7, 7, 4, 28 is going to be 28. If I add that together, 140 plus 20 is 160. And then add the 8, 168 hours. So I know now the fraction of the week that Mary sleeps is 67 out of 168 hours. That is a bit tricky for us, right? 67 out of 168 hours. How am I going to do this? The answers are all in percentage. So I know percentages are out of 100, but how am I going to make 168 into hundredths? That's the tricky part here. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say, well, 67 out of 168 is quite close to 68 out of 168, right? They're both even numbers now, and so I can start simplifying. Maybe I can simplify to something that would make it easy for me to make it out of 100. So 68 over 168, well, if I divide both of them by 2, I get 34 out of 168. Now 34 out of 168, I know is going to be, was it 168? If I done that right? Ooh, that's not right either, right? It should be half for both the numerator and denominator. So 160, half of 160 is 80, and half of 8 is going to be 4, so it's going to be 84. That's better. 34 out of 84. Now that's closer to 100, right? 34 out of 100, 34 out of 84. Now that kind of helps me out a lot, right? Can you see how? If it was 34 out of 100, what percentage would that be? That would be 34%, right? So 34 out of 84, is that more than 34% or less than 34%? 34 out of 84 is going to be more than 34%, right? And so 34 out of 84 is more than 34%. That must mean that I can't have 34% as one of my answers. Neither can I have 30%. Neither can I have 25%. So I've already narrowed it down to either 40 or 50. Now, I know half of 84 is 42. So that means that 50% can't be the case either. So instead of working out the specific or going down to hundredths and getting the exact percentage, I've narrowed down my answer and I've got 40% because I've eliminated the other answers. Elimination is a good approach when you've got questions like this, which is one, it's about the closest, so estimation, right? And second, or approximation, I should say. And secondly, the other aspect is that it's quite tricky, right? 168 is a denominator. To change that into hundredths or 20ths or 50ths or tenths, or anything that's going to be a factor of 100 and then multiply to get 100, that's quite tricky. And so this approach requires me to remember that 34 out of 100 is 34%. And 34 out of 84 must be more than 34%. And so these three are out of the question, and it can't be 50% either, because that's 42 out of 84. So it must be way less than 50%. And so 40% seems like a good estimate or approximation for this. Does that make sense? Let me know if this video helped you or helped your children, and that would be greatly appreciated. And I know that these are videos that will help you in your 11 plus preparation. And of course, if you need 11 plus tuition, please join our one-to-one groups or one-to-one sessions or groups, and I'm sure your child will benefit immensely from our maths expertise. Take care, everyone. Bye.